All right, folks, it's that time of the week again. If you clicked on this video and you're not sure what it is, once a week I sit down and I try to answer as many comments as I can that we've gotten on our videos over the course of the week from our regular viewers or anybody that's commented on the channel. So if that doesn't sound like something you'd be interested in watching, totally understand if you click off the video right now. Before we dive into the comments, I want to do a couple of shout outs here. First of all, thanks to Ellen, one of our regular viewers and patrons, for letting me know that our cover of Bobby McGee that we released this week is supposed to come out Tuesday. It did come out Tuesday, but there was no audio on there. And still don't know how that happened, but there was no audio on there. So thanks, Ellen, for letting us know that. And we got that up Wednesday. Another couple of shout outs. I don't know if they want to be named, so I'm just going to say thanks to a couple of our regular viewers, patrons. One who sent us a very generous donation. Appreciate that so much, so we can continue to do these reactions. And another who sent us one of my favorite gifts that I have ever received. There's a couple of original CCR 45s, just absolutely fantastic. Thank y'all so much. This could not ask for a better group of audience members, fans, viewers, patrons, you name it. You guys are the best. So thank you so much. All right, we're going to dive in the comments now. First up on our suggestions, we have Susan Marks 2382 says, yes, please to first aid kit. That was a suggestion from last week. Carol Burnett, one of our great viewers, regular viewers, says, suggestion for reacting, The Cave by Need to Breathe. Yes, okay, so Need to Breathe just came out. I'm not sure if the album has released yet, but I know they released the single, The Cave, off of Caves, their new album. When that album comes out, if it hadn't already come out, I want to do a full album reaction for that on Patreon and then pull a couple of tracks and put on YouTube. I have just had such a hard time finding the time to record full album reactions other than the Bruce, because right now I'm doing one Bruce a week, and I'm hoping I can figure something out where I can get back to doing different album reactions in addition to the Bruce. And I would love to do that new Need to Breathe record, because I love Need to Breathe. Not every album of theirs has hit me, not every song of theirs has hit me, but overall, great band. I've seen them twice in concert, absolutely love them. Jill 9837 says, hey Cole, I know you like Avi, but I was thinking you might like to hear something a little different that he wrote, but the Acapella Academy performed. Okay, if you aren't aware, Avi, along with Ben Bram, or maybe Brahm, pentatonics arranger, and Rob Dietz, started a 10-day summer vocal music program for 12 to 18-year-olds several years ago. I think I may have been this is vaguely ringing a bell, but I don't remember any specifics. At the end of the 2 weeks, they do a concert. 1 year, the final song was The Seed, written by Avi and conducted by Dietz, and is absolutely remarkable. Fantastic. I will put that on the list, Jill. Thank you so much. Leslie O'Neill 4464 says, I don't think there were any overdubs layering. This is on Seven Bridges Road, Home Free. Here's a link to a live version of this, but with Chance instead of Chris. Excellent. I personally think it's even better than the studio version, even being recorded with a cell phone at a concert. Must listen. Okay, will do. May even do a reaction on that one. Karina, one of our regular viewers, Karina Rodebach, on our Avi video says, Fox and Hound with and without Adam Chance. Okay, so is the song called With or Without, or you mean just listen to Hound and the Fox, either with or without Adam Chance? I'm not sure there. All right, on our comments video last week, shout out to our EOV clubbers. If you don't know what the EOV club is, you have to watch this entire video, and then you'll know. EOV club, Rod Connor, Annette Corrado, Just Karen, Karina Rodebach, EA Cole 72, Elizabeth Ross, Jillian Drysdale, Carol Burnett. Thank y'all so much for being part of our EOV. Story Night Diner says, and the Chicken Geek Award goes to... That is great. Yeah, so last week I got to geek out about chickens, which is one of my favorite things in the whole world. And I do want to make a slight correction. Last week I said, if I remember correctly, that Dominique chickens were Mediterranean class, developed in France. They were brought over in the colonial period, and barred rocks were developed from that. I looked that up. I double-checked myself. I got that completely wrong. Sorry, it's been like 20 years since I was really into the chicken world. The Dominiques are also an American class. They are believed to be the first of the American class of chickens that were developed from English birds during the 18th century, and then barred rocks were developed later from them in the 19th century. So just want to clarify that. All right, and in reply to that comment, BossFan49, one of our great ones, says Cole Powell of Random Mind Peckers. Great, because the chickens and pecks. Okay, that's good. That was going to be hard to top. All right. Racing 2 Cat, another one of our great viewers, says, liking the lineup for the next couple of weeks, Cole, would your poultry channel come with cooking tips? That's what I jokingly said last week. If anybody wanted to, semi-jokingly, if anybody wanted me to start an all-poultry channel, I would. Look, Cat, that could be arranged. My wife is the best cook I know, and I'm not just saying that because she's my wife. Objectively, she is just phenomenal. Like, she's a little bit of a cooking legend around these parts. You know, we could do a poultry channel and have a cooking show on there with my wife just doing different chicken dishes. Hey, I'm down for it. That could be arranged. Jillian Drysdale says, you know a lot about chickens. Would there be Easter eggs on your chicken channel? Yes, absolutely, 100%. In fact, you know, there's actually breeds of chickens that lay green and blue and different colored eggs. You got the Easter eggers and you got the Americanas. We always called them Arcanas or Arcanas, but they're technically Americanas that were developed from. Anyway, I'm gonna get off on chickens again if I don't watch myself. But anyway, yes, we would have Easter eggs on here. Some natural and some artificially dyed. Karina Rodebach says, did tell you a bit about the background of how great they are at my original comment to your reaction, but you missed that comment in your last comment collage. Okay, yeah, I did. First Aid Kit is a Swedish group. Another Swedish group I think is worth checking out is Dirty Loops. Okay, we will check them out, Karina. I'm sorry we missed that comment, Karina. I'm going to see if my comment monitor can go back and pull that up. E.A. Cole says Sound of Silence by Pentatonics is one of the best covers I've heard of it. Country Harmony by Home Free was written by Tim Faust to celebrate the group as a group. Okay, the video is a sweet, very fictional take on how they came together. Excellent. Okay, I hope to check that one out. I hope to check all the Home Free stuff out. And yeah, the Pentatonic Sound of Silence was just excellent, and that'll be out this upcoming week. Kristen Dunstan says they actually have behind-the-scene videos for every video they put out. They are all available to their patrons at a certain tier. A certain tier also gets access to their individual vocal tracks. Wow. Last year, they started releasing some of the older behind-the-scenes videos in their From the Vault series. I haven't watched any of the videos on the From the Vault, but I've seen From the Vault, and then they've got, you know, whatever song, but I haven't watched any of them. Elizabeth Ross says, the closest I ever got to a chicken was the cute little yellow chick the Easter Bunny brought when I was a kid. Unfortunately, my parents were forced to find another home as it grew up. I don't like to think what became of it. Probably chicken stew. You have such good stories. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. EOVC charter member. I appreciate that, Elizabeth. Yeah, I love chickens. And hey, you never know. Like, we didn't... Whoever got that chick may have turned into a pet. Most of ours, you know, at one point, I think the most number of birds we had was like 80-something. And we didn't eat any of them. And we got their eggs, but they were basically pets. I even had a couple that would just fly up and sit on my shoulder. They weren't trained to do that. They just did it naturally because they were just raised. You know, we raised them good, and they liked us. They were basically just pets. BossFan49 says, since it's been said out loud, here's a link for First Aid Kit's Emmylou, performed live in front of Emmylou. Wow, okay. Probably their best-known song among their small U.S. audience. First Aid Kit is a duo of sisters Johanna and Clara Soderberg. Interesting. They are from Stockholm, but at a young age developed a fondness for American folk music. They have been making records since 2008, ages 15 and 18. Excellent. So far, they have had 3 songs chart number 30 or better on the Billboard Adult Alternative Airplay chart. Excellent. Currently on tour. They'll be in my hometown, Chicago, on Saturday. They have 7 stops in southern U.S., September 9th through the 17th. Great info there, Boss Fan. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check them out. On our Seven Bridges Road home free video, Dagmar S., another great viewer, says, thanks for your reaction. I grew up listening to the Eagles music and had their albums. They were known for their harmonies. I absolutely love this cover by Home Free. Their harmonies are so tight and the best in the business, and Adam Rupp's vocal percussion is awesome as usual. Also, like the video showing 7 different bridges in Minneapolis. Yeah, it's a great video. They sounded great. Just excellent. Carol Burnett says, I have no idea if there were extra layers here, but the live performance of Skull and Bones proves they can have a really full sound without enhancements. I think Opera Rob has been a secret weapon for all of these years. This is another song that I hesitated to watch because it would have made me really sad if Home Free's version didn't live up to the Eagles. I have loved this song since it came out in the dark ages. Thanks, Cole. By the way, I'm paranoid about sentence structure and punctuation since you are an English expert. Yeah, but look, Carol, don't worry about that. Yeah, I have a lot of formal English education. I can sit down, and if I sit down and write, I'll sit there and for hours on a text and just edit until I have everything perfect. But I've tried to get away from that, and also as far as my speaking goes, I don't really monitor it. I'm not a super, like, English grammar Nazi when I'm speaking. A lot of times I just speak like I was raised talking down here, and like I just said, talking. I just dropped the G at the end. That's not proper. So don't be concerned when you're writing in the comments, because even I, with all I know, even trying to write correctly, will sometimes miss a punctuation mark or something without even realizing it. Eric Potter, another great viewer of the channel, says, a great version of the Eagles hit. Home Free's harmonies are just out of this world, and Adam's beatboxing is simply superb. The beautiful bridge scenes enhance the video. Great reaction. You have a blessed day. Thank you, Eric. You as well. Pam Forrester, another great viewer, says, this for sure takes me back in time. The Eagles went all in. They did it all, I think, one of their best, and wanted to offer a rest in peace to Mr. Tony Bennett. Absolutely. A true old-school crooner and vocalist. They don't make them like him anymore. There was a reason he was Sinatra's favorite. Just Tony. A microphone, a great song. No super production or circus act needed. Going to miss him. He gave his all. As always, thank you for the video and commentary. Thank you, Pam. Yeah, Tony Bennett, man, that was... As I was listening to somebody talk about this, and they made the observation that he was the last of the crooners, the last of the original crooners. He was the youngest one of the bunch. Sinatra used to call him the kid because he was so much younger than all the rest of them. And now that he's gone, that era is done. It's really sad that the jazz crooners are no more. The originals, anyway. You got some newer ones coming up, like Bublé's probably the closest to that era and sound. But yeah, it's just sad deal. Penny Garrity, another regular viewer, says, I was never a big Eagles fan, but this was a song I loved, and Home Free did it justice. I love the fact that Adam can't seem to stand still when he's beatboxing. When he sings, he barely moves, as if he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. When he's waiting to come in with the percussion, he stands perfectly still and stares at the floor or off into the distance, and he wasn't singing in the first half, but let him start beatboxing, and he's moving. The 5-part harmonies in the second part of the song was perfection. 100% agree with that. Columbe, another regular viewer, says, this one blew me away since my first listening and stayed in my top 10 Home Free list. What a treat. The guys went all out with the harmonies. A really awesome one. Thanks for reacting to this, Cole. A pleasure as always. Thank you, Columbe. I appreciate that. Carolyn Costner says, of all the a cappella groups performing this time, I think Adam is the best beatboxer of them all. I agree with that, Carolyn, and that's nothing against anybody else, nothing against, Lane. We do a lot of voice play on this channel. Adam, I think, is the best. That's all I can say. Also, with these harmonies, one would say they were family related. That is true. My favorite a cappella group because they are so versatile and talented. Great reaction, Cole. Thank you, Carolyn. Appreciate that. Baby Fry, another great viewer of the channel. I think it's been a while since we've had a Baby Fry comment on here. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Adam and his kit. I get it. It sounds like he has drums in front of him. He's remarkable. I agree that it sounds fuller. I don't know the production of it, though. Such a good version. Love it. Good reaction, Cole, as always. Thank you, Baby Fry. Appreciate that. Patricia E. May says, I've been watching your Home Free reaction for a while, and I think you have definitely gone over to the dark side. And no doubt you're Home Fry. Yeah, I hesitate to call myself a Home Fry because I don't want to infringe on territory and people be like, you're not a Home Fry. But look, I mean, I'm over 30 reactions into this point, not counting some of the solo stuff and some where the guys are featured artists with other artists. And I just love these guys. They're absolutely fantastic. Rod Connor, another great viewer, says, phenomenally exceptional, exceptionally phenomenal. The best that I can come up with on about Home Free. Be safe. 100% Rod. Great comment. On our voice play Greatest Showman video. Alona Dever, another great viewer of the channel, says, I've never seen The Greatest Showman, but that never stops me from appreciating what voice play can do. You reacted to in the Hall of Mountain King last year. Elizabeth Garrazzo, the featured artist there, was heard in this one. She did the incredibly high soprano when everyone, including Rachel, was beatboxing. Wow! Okay, I obviously don't know the storyline here, but the side glances between Rachel and Lane were very moving. Lane just has a wicked sense of humor. Casting Ellie as the tall man was genius. You haven't reacted to their Wicked medley yet. Please put on the list. It is not performing well on Patreon. It's consistently been the least voted for on our Patreon poll. It's been on there for like, I don't know how long at this point, maybe a couple of months. Just hasn't done it. I'm going to open up the voice play poll to YouTube sometime in August. Maybe it'll win then. We'll see. BJ Speck, another great viewer of the channel, says, I love the music box setup that Lane created. As it reaches the end, the music box winds down, and voice play is still. I think this musical was one of those that you either loved it or it fell flat for folks. Yeah, that was the movie fell flat for me. For me, the movie was good, as was the music, but I wouldn't have gone out of my way for it, whereas Phantom of the Opera is one where I've never met a version I didn't love. By the way, Tony did Rachel's dress. Interesting. Another tidbit, Rachel was in the X Factor competing in 2013. Right. Somebody to Love Queen, if you want to check it out, and that's the reason she wasn't in voice play sing-off competition when the competition said they need a female voice. Yeah, I knew that story, but I didn't have any specific performance from her. So yes, Somebody to Love, that'd be a great one to put on our random Patreon poll. Broom Rider 1492 says, their building and painting of this set behind the scenes videos are so fun to watch. They really do 90% of everything themselves. Excellent. Shirley Carr says, took me a few views to notice that they're all beatboxing at one point. Even Rachel, she's made some really fun videos with the guys, like the Little Mermaid medley and Kidnapped Santa Claus. Yeah, I've seen both of those. The VP person who arranges also tends to be in charge of video production, costume set design, directing, editing, etc. How fitting for this, Lane's arrangement that his character is the ringmaster, 100%. Valencia the Queen, another great viewer of the channel, says, wonderful. Rachel is the standout for me. Yeah, 100%. On our Bruce Going Down reaction, Elizabeth Ross says, I didn't pay much attention to mainstream music in the 80s. Life was too demanding, so I'm surprised at this Springsteen release. It's far removed from what I thought I was missing, or not missing very much, haha. Now that I've broadened my appreciation of country giving, I'm going down to listen along with your comments. It's most enjoyable. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing. I missed a couple of your videos because I was out of town for the weekend. Glad to be back at the EOV. Thank you, Elizabeth. Look, I wish I could have gone out of town this weekend too, so I totally get it. Pam Farser says, darn it, Cole, you've made me love Bruce again. Ha ha. This song is really good. Thank you so much. Yeah, Pam, you know, I've told my story before that I was never a big Bruce fan. Every time I heard him on the radio, I'd be like, switch the station usually. And then now I'm like, man, this dude is just phenomenal. Boss Fan 49 says, like I'm on fire. This is another one where I hear Johnny Cash influences. Yeah, and I don't think I said that on the video. Don't even remember if I thought that while I was watching originally, but I know at some point I did think, Johnny Cash here, whenever I've listened to it again, for sure. But I could also hear Elvis singing it. Yep. Anyone from Sun. I'm glad you shared this one because people tend to forget about it. The 6th single from Born in the USA, and although it charted in the top 10, it's often forgotten because it was released between glory days in my hometown. I think one reason I'm Going Down and Cover Me got overlooked by the casual listener is because they were the only 2 singles from the album that didn't have music videos. Without that memory of visual reinforcement, they fade away for some folks. Yeah, that's a good observation. I think one reason I'm Going Down and Cover Me got overlooked by the casual listeners because they were the only 2 singles from the album that didn't have... Oh, sorry, I already read that. P.S. I appreciate the additional editing you guys did on this one. Pausing the comments, splicing it back in some of the audio where you talk through it on the Patreon video. Very considerate of you. Thanks, Boss Fan. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've kind of changed. I'm not sure how many videos we've gotten out on YouTube because we're, in some cases, like 6 weeks ahead on these, but we've kind of changed the way we're doing these videos to make it easier to film, even though it does take more editing time, but it makes it easier to film, and it also makes, I think, for a better watching experience because you're getting to hear the commentary and not miss any of the songs. So thank you for picking up on that, Boss Fan, and that's what we're going to do from here on out moving forward unless something changes. All right, on our Bobby McGee cover, Southern Country Music Review, my band's cover of Bobby McGee. Pam Farser says, love this song, and this sure does it justice. What a pure, powerful rendition. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate that. Karina Rotobox says, a classic gem and a nice contemporary rendition. I want more of that stuff. Thank you, Karina. I hope we can get something out. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it by the end of the year, but maybe early next year. See if we can get something else out. Maggie at Play, another great viewer of the channel. I don't know if we've had any from Maggie on this. I can't remember. It says, excellent version of this song. Thanks, Cole, for sharing. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate it. Elizabeth Ross says, a song can't have a better lineage than this. Christopherson, Miller, and Joplin, 100%. I always loved it, and you and Brittany are giving another generation for yet another generation of listeners. Your arrangement seems very different, but it fits perfectly well with Brittany's crisp melody soaring. La-da-da, happily enjoying it all the way to the OV. So glad you got the audio fixed. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Yes, sorry about the audio on that. I still don't know what happened there. We lost audio on that first upload, but we got it fixed. And yeah, it's funny you talk about the arrangement. We used to perform this live at every show, and while we were performing, it's clearly based on the Janis version, and in our minds we think, okay, yeah, we're just doing the Janis version. But once we actually got it recorded, we realized, like, you know what, we're doing our own thing with this, and we didn't even realize it just came natural with our sensibilities. And we were putting our own stamp on it without even realizing. It was really cool. I love doing this whole record, doing these covers of songs that I loved, I grew up with, that we grew up with, and performed live. It was a really fun record to make. Carol Burnett says, wow, I had no idea Roger Miller sang this one. Thanks for sharing the music and the education. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, a lot of people don't. He was the original artist. The first person that released this was Roger Miller, and it was a totally different vibe, very much in the country folk Roger Miller vein. And then Janis took it and just, made it this iconic song. Valencia the Queen says, wonderful version of this Janis classic. Thank you, Valencia. I appreciate that. And Boss Fan 49 says, nice work, folks. Thank you, Boss Fan. I appreciate that. And finally, on our last video of the week, the Avi Kaplan Summit reaction, Shirley Moffitt says, this was prior to his work with Shooter Jennings. It was back when he just left Pentatonics and was still struggling with his mental health. He spent a year walking in nature, trying to get his head straight, so this is both a literal and metaphorical climb he's making. References to the light in his songs of this time tend to refer to the idea of seeing the light at the end of a dark tunnel. And yes, all Avi. Good, honest reaction. Thank you. More Avi, please. You bet. I'll hope to get, again, I've got to get back into doing more album reactions and then pulling songs off for YouTube. And I hope the next one's probably going to be another Avi record here, and I'm also going to be picking up his single songs as well. Carol Burnett says, Avi's lyrics are great, and this is probably my second favorite of his songs. I appreciate you reading the lyrics at the end. A fitting tribute to Avi's writing skills. Thanks, Cole. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, he's a phenomenal songwriter. Pam Forrester says, this is a new to me Avi, and I love it. I think he's the new man of mystery, maybe like a mini Laird Springsteen. Yeah, absolutely. He seems to really be on top of his game here. Always up for Avi solo or Pentatonics. Looking forward to seeing more. Thank you for the video and commentary. Thank you as always, Pam. Stacy Moisa says, yes, the vocals are all Avi. I love the 70s sounds with the modern bass addition. It's kind of like a Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Kaplan song. Yeah, Kaplan song, 100%. LOL, yeah, 100%. And finally, Dorrit Rosen says, thank you for a new great reaction to Avi. I like how you dig into his superb lyrics. They are often very personal, yet very relatable. For more reactions, I suggest When I'm a Fool from his EP Live at Sunset Sound and He Don't Love You Right from his album Floating on a Dream. Both the EP and the album are produced by Shooter Jennings and display Avi's incredible voice. Shooter Jennings has said that recording Avi's voice is like recording an entire orchestra. Cannot wait for your next reaction to this amazing artist. Thank you, Dorrit. Yeah, I hope to get to that soon. All right, thank y'all so much. If you made it to the end of the video, you are now part of the End of Video Club. Thank you so much for watching this. If you've liked any of our videos, if you've subscribed to the channel, if you have supported us on Patreon, if you've shared any of our reactions on social media, any videos we post, period, on social media, thank you so much. We could not do this without you. Stick around. I again forgot to pull up what our list is this upcoming week. I know we got, I think it's Home Free is Folsom Prison Blues. Voice Play, that'd be Friday. Voice Play Monday, I believe, is Disney Heroes. We got a Bruce coming up from the Born in the USA record. I can't remember which one, but it's from the Born in the USA record. Then Wednesday is going to be Pentatonic Sound of Silence. And then I hope to have another comments videos up Thursday. And we'll see you then.